Yo, it's myself, Conductor, and this is how I DJ, just about. The first time I mixed two tracks together, it would have been, I was like 14, 15 years old. Me and my cousins, we had like a little group. So one of them rapped and me and my other cousin produced. The first two tracks I would have mixed would have been Joker, Gully, Brick Lane. It would have been maybe a Guido tune, but yeah, like two Bristol heavyweights. And I remember like, shit, this is gonna be really, really hard. Like actually learning to DJ like on vinyls and stuff at the time. That was like my first, like, oh shit, DJing is like, this is the thing. For me as a DJ, and also the way I approach a DJ set is kind of like being like a listener or a raver. I don't ever want to think about even going to the smoking area. Like I kind of want to always be on my toes. Even if it's like mellow and stuff, I kind of just want to be chilling like on the dance floor, like at least like moving a bit. So I always try and make sure, even if I know there's like a break in the tune or like a gap and stuff, that's why I want to have like a third, like the third deck's really there, because yeah, the tune's ready, and I can get something in that space where people aren't like, there's no drop. Even though there's a drop in maybe energy, there's no drop in like feeling and wanting to like just stay on the dance floor kind of thing. The way I think of sets is like 3 tunes. I think of the next 3 tunes. I'm always thinking of it in a sequence of 3 rather than a sequence of 2. Something that I love doing is making sure that the jog adjust is heavy, because I feel like I have more control over when I knock it. Whereas when it's light, it kind of just goes all over the place, for me anyway. And I like it like just being heavy so I can be like more delicate with it basically. So usually what I do is, if I know vocals and stuff coming in and I don't want the sounds to like clash too much, especially if I'm watching, like I'll be watching here, I'll just make sure that usually my go-to is just dimming the bass, busting a bit of filter, and then going like, so it's just like high and mid, so the bass of the other tune kind of just takes over. In terms of using the effects, I use like the delay then, because I kind of like the drums like bouncing off each other. In like the next transition I do now, I kind of find, yeah, I'll play a tune which isn't really meant to be at 138 or as fast, but I like using the drums to kind of just bounce off each other, especially with that delay, and making as much use of the X pad as I can. I know first of all the 4/4 against each other is gonna bang, but it's fun being able to like play the drums off each other. It's almost like producing, because you're adding like extra delay and like boom, boom, boom. You can almost think it's one tune, or people listening to it be like, oh right, is this one tune or is this one mix? It's only like 2 or 3 years ago where I was like, shit, I'm actually a DJ now. But before, I didn't really see DJing as like an avenue, as another avenue to like play my music or for my music to be heard. I really only focused on making like productions and getting hard on like SoundCloud, or yeah, just people hearing your music. Whereas if I remember when I got booked for my very first gig, and I was like, oh, like shit. So this is what happens when you like kind of make tunes, and like, this is the process. So then from there onwards, it kind of became a thing. One like defining moment where I was like, shit, I was a DJ. I played at Love Saves the Day festivals, like 2016. No, 2017 maybe, was like my first run of festivals. Obviously Homecoming show. My manager, it's like also like our anniversary of being together at the time, in like 2 or 3, it'd been like 3 years. First festival, Homecoming, like the sun setting, it's like 7 p.m. And when I could see like everyone in the crowd, and I saw people that I went to school with, or people who I'd known like growing up. I could see them like all in the crowd and stuff. And then I was like, that's actually the only time I've ever cried, like actually as a DJ, or like in like that kind of setting. I literally had like tears like streaming down my face. I was like, shit, like right, I'm actually a DJ now. Usually like what I like doing is catching like a particular bit or melody which is like memorable from the last tune, then that over the drop of another tune, it just sounds nice. Like. that was like the loop. It kind of works. I should have really caught the vocal of that As I Am. I like to have like, not as many decks as possible. For me, like 3 decks is kind of the one, because as long as I can link all 3, I mix quite quick. Like, so that every minute and a half, I'll have like, there's a tune in my head where I'll be like, cool. So I'm already like scrolling if I haven't organized my record box playlist properly, which is like likely. So I'm always just like looking for the next tune or the next kind of blend. So having 3 tunes allows me to, one, do that all quickly, but also in my head, like just be like 2 steps ahead, having like a next loop loaded up on here whilst these tunes are 2 tunes are playing here and the blend's going on. For me, it's just like, yeah, kind of feel like Timbaland Air Technology video where you're like, cool, control this, then bang, 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 bang. It's a good feeling to have that kind of just the room to maneuver and just do what you can. If I brought my laptop here, you'd see like on Chrome, I'd have like 50 tabs up of like related tunes on YouTube. Because I feel like it's different. I'm 26, but I never really had, it's like the generation before was like all vinyl shops and stuff. And I feel like the online, like the 21st century, or the new version of that now is just being on YouTube. And for me, I'll have like 1 tune up, which I maybe don't know. And then I'll look at all the related tunes or what's up next and have them all in related tabs. Like you'll end up in like a pigeonhole, like you'll say, cool, like I'm going to bed now. And then you're like, it's like 4 a.m. and you're like, rah, like shit, I'm listening to this tune. But then the worst feeling about that is when you favorite something, bookmark something, and you go back and it's gone. So for me now, it's always like seizing the moment. Like if I hear something, I'm like, bang, I like this, bang, like I just grab it.
I can't find one. Thought it wasn't I'm doing it again party, but it's more like a God
So I already know.
Wiley, I told you we should have.
I already know the tune coming in. Like I know how it's gonna fit. Like I know by looking at the waveforms, like this one's gonna come at the right time.
We need some more girls in here. We need some more girls in here. We need some more girls in here. There's too many men, 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 too many men. We need some more girls in here. 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 There's too many men, 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 too many men. No high heels, just hooks. No cleavage, just crest. About 10 man look like yes. I see bad guys in the queue and ting. The way from like muscle based chick.
I make music that like I've got people who enjoy the music, but that doesn't make me, I don't know, it doesn't put me on, I enjoy the music just as much as they enjoy it, it's just I'm playing it. So for me, it's like, in terms of being a DJ, I feel like my main purpose or my main tool, my main job is if I'm playing a show, if I'm playing any kind of radio, any kind of like anything, any audio, is to make it enjoyable for the listener, but also it be an education for the listener. I feel like I'm like kind of a DJ kind of teacher.